Joining us now, former U.S. Ambassador to Russia and MSNBC International Affairs analyst Michael McFaul. Can you tell me what functionally it would mean, Ambassador, if Donald Trump became president and then followed through on this and said, you know, hey, Germany, I don't think you're paying quite enough, or you're not paying 2% of your GDP, or Hungary, you're not paying 2% of your GDP, or Poland, you're not paying 2% of your GDP, and then looked at Russia and Vladimir Putin and said, go for it, do whatever you want?
It would be catastrophic. And I think those senators are a little too calm in talking about just how catastrophic it would be. If Russia, God forbid, Putin decides to test NATO, decides to attack, or even attack and then retreat, we're one of our NATO allies. It will cause chaos. It will cause economic chaos. We will eventually be dragged in because we have American soldiers in many of those countries. Do you really think that if American soldiers were attacked by Russia, the American people would rally behind President Trump and say, well, that's not our problem? Of course that's not going to happen. So by signaling weakness, we encourage these kinds of outcomes. And so I just think it's so outrageously inappropriate for any president of the United States to say such things. And I wish people from his party, because I know they agree with me, I wish they would say it a little louder how just outrageous it is.
So you have a lot of, House Republicans and even some Republicans in the Senate who don't agree with you even in private. They'll say that they don't want to get involved in the world's issues. They don't want to get involved in Russia's war in Ukraine. They don't want to get involved with the Taiwan stuff. They don't want to get involved with the Middle East. If Donald Trump is president and he hews to what those Republicans are feeling, and they're all kind of falling in line behind him, and he says, I'm going to pull American troops out of country X or country Y, and that's the country, the NATO country that Russia invades, and there's not Americans on the ground there. I'm just trying to game plan what it would look like so that people understand when they're voting. What would it look like if Americans pulled out of Europe and allowed Russia to do what they wanted? America became more isolationist, as it seems some Republicans are advocating.
Kate, it's a great question. I would encourage Americans to read history. Read the 1930s, because this is exactly where did the phrase America first came from? It came from isolationists in the United States in the 1930s. And when the Italians went into Ethiopia, we say, well, where is Ethiopia? Not our problem. When the Japanese went into China, many Americans, millions of Americans said, not our problem. They'll never threaten us. And when Hitler went into Poland, 1939, and the Soviets went in too, by the way, we said, not our problem. Not our problem. We don't need to get involved. And then we know how that story ends. That story ends in December 7th, 1941, when we are attacked and we are dragged into World War II. And had we been more engaged before then, we might have avoided World War II. To me, that's exactly the analogy now. Read history. Let's learn from history so that we don't repeat those horrible mistakes from history again.
What do you say to voters or Republicans who say he's already been president? We know what he's done in the past. He didn't pull out of NATO before. This is just him speaking off the cuff. You can't take him seriously.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, and I hope that's right. And if he becomes elected president, I hope that will be the case. But I'd say two things are different this time around. Number one, he won't have all those generals around him that helped him not do those stupid things. Secretary of Defense Mattis, H.R. McMaster, all those folks, none of them will be on Trump Team 2.0. And second, if he's reelected, Mr. Trump will think that he has a mandate to do those kinds of things that he didn't have the first time around. So I think it'll be a lot more dangerous should he be reelected president the next time around.
Ambassador Michael McFaul, always good to have you, sir. Thank you for joining us. And we are about